What if the greatest danger to faith is not persecution and not even compromise, but something far worse? What if there comes a time when truth is almost gone, but religion still remains? Because after the black horse, history doesn't get brighter, it gets darker. In this video, you are going to see why many Bible teachers understand the fourth horse as the darkest period in Christian history. We'll explore how, between 538 AD and around 1500 AD, a system rose that combined religion with power, but lost the simplicity of truth. You'll see how Scripture itself predicted this condition, how history confirms it, and how even in this darkness, God still preserved a faithful people. And by the end, you will understand why this horse is called death. The fourth horse was pale. Revelation 6 verses 7 to 8. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Many Bible teachers see the fourth horse as a stage where spiritual compromise reaches its peak. Truth becomes deeply obscured. Religion continues, but spiritual life declines. This is not just corruption anymore, it is spiritual death. Why a pale horse? The word pale comes from a term meaning sickly green, lifeless, the color of decay. It represents loss of spiritual life, a church that appears alive, but is not. Pale horse moves slowly, no urgency, no resistance, and on it sits a rider whose name is chilling, Death, and following behind him, the grave. This condition is described elsewhere in the Bible. Revelation 3 verse 1. You have a name that you are alive, but you are dead. Outward religion, inward emptiness. 2 Thessalonians 2 verses 3 to 4. A falling away, the man of sin, a system rising within religion itself. Daniel 7 verse 25. He shall speak great words, and think to change times and laws, a power that alters truth. These verses point to the same condition: truth hidden, authority misused, faith replaced with control. Around 538 AD, 1500 AD, often called the Dark Ages, this period begins as church power becomes dominant in Europe. Religious authority is no longer just spiritual, it becomes political. During this time, church and state were fully united. Dissent was not tolerated. Scripture was not widely accessible. Tradition became the primary authority. Those who challenged the system often faced persecution. Historians describe this period as one where religion remained visible, but truth was largely hidden. The historian Will Durant described parts of this era as a period of intellectual darkness, and even reformers later recognized that the issue was not the absence of religion, but the loss of biblical truth within it. Revelation says, power was given over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, hunger, death, and beasts. This connects with Ezekiel 14 verse 21. My force or judgments, sword, famine, noisome beast, and pestilence, showing a pattern of judgment and consequence. This represents conflict, spiritual famine, disease, social breakdown, all present during this era. But here is what makes this even more serious, because spiritual death is not always obvious. You can have religion without relationship, have tradition without truth, have form without power, and not realize it. Here's the truth most people miss. The pale horse is not about removing religion. It is about emptying it. Because when truth is gone, what remains still looks like faith, but has no life. But God did not abandon his people. Even in this darkness, God preserved a remnant, people who held onto truth, people who sought Scripture, people who refused to fully compromise. Just like the oil and wine were preserved before, truth was never completely destroyed. And this raises one final question. If truth was buried for so long, if darkness covered so much, If faith became almost lifeless, then how does it come back? Because history does not end in darkness. Something happens next that begins to bring light back again. But to understand it, you have to see what breaks the darkness. And what comes next changes everything.